All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Mitch for Indigenous Insights. Chamigwech for tuning in. Here with us on the good old-fashioned phone line, we have Mr. John Roberts, a member of the Red Lake Band of Ojibwe and a comedian since 2009. John, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Glad to have you here. So taking a look at your bio, the very first thing that stands out to me, because I'm a dad myself, is you're married and you're a father of 12. That's double digits, John. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, me and my wife, we've been married we've been together 27 years, and we have 4 biological children, ages 25, 23, 19, and 14. And we started foster care in 1998, and we've had about 30 kids come through our home. And it just, within the last 6-7 years, we took in newborns, straight from the hospital. And we've had, right now at home, we have a 7-year-old, 2 6-year-olds, 3 5-year-olds, and 2 4-year-olds. And we adopted all 8 of them. All the paperwork was done with our last 2, and I believe it was March of last year. So legally they are our children, because, we're basically all they've known since they were born. So that's trying to do our part to help the community. That's just it's actually my wife. She's the one that opened my eyes to how much better a person I could be, I suppose. And yeah, we just been started with foster care. Now we're in an adoption, and if they build us a bigger house, we'll take in some more kids. But nobody's taken me up on that offer yet.
Well, first of all, just congratulations, because I've seen different people try to go through adoption processes, and that's a long process. So, that's incredible. That's cool to hear. Let's go back to the beginning of that. What did kind of inspire it for you then? You said your wife kind of had something to do with it, but what really opened up your eyes? Like, let's do this.
Well, I started working as a child protection case manager in 2015, but even before that, my wife was working that position too, and it just opened my eyes up to, a lot of the kids around here are from broken families, and instead of having them go through the system, which is hard on a lot of kids, and we just figured that it started with distant relatives needed placement for the newborns, and so we took them in, and then another one came in, and then like a year later, their siblings were looking for a placement, so we took them in right out of the hospital, and It just snowballed from there, and pretty much, once we got them home from the hospital, that was pretty much all it took for us to realize that we needed to open up our home and do more for the community and the kids.
So, I wrote these questions out, and I was going to try to stick to the questions, but new ones are already popping up in my head because, even around this area here, we do have a need for foster parents and stuff like that. Do you have any advice for anybody who might be thinking of taking that step?
I think it is it's a big step to take. It's a lot of responsibility, but, it's with, you think about the path you're going to help these kids with. It's difficult, and in the long run, it will be something positive for the community, and just to show that our people are ones that have always helped one another out, no matter what. Because I remember when I grew up, my mom moved up to the reservation with my grandparents, and there was, I think, 11 of us in a 2-bedroom house all at once, because my grandparents would not let relatives sleep in a car or suffer out in the cold. It just, our people were always helping others, and that's just what pretty much what we're doing right now, trying to do anyway.
Yeah. So you mentioned your community. Can you tell us a little bit about where you're calling from, where you live?
I'm calling from Red Lake, Minnesota. We're about maybe 70, 80, maybe 100 miles from the Canadian border, and I've been living here since I was 4 years. I remember having my 4th birthday party here. Otherwise, I was born in Minneapolis, and there, and Southside Projects, Little Earth, and what was the rest of the question? I forgot.
Just tell us about where you're from. I guess you mentioned that you're trying to help out your community and stuff. Just tell us a little bit about your community.
Oh yeah, Red Lake is a closed reservation. We didn't, the Dawes Allotment Act, we didn't sign into that, so we're pretty much our own community here. It's been, it's a close community. Even though we're fighting addiction and with alcoholism and drug addiction, we're still all trying to come together for each other, and it's really difficult, especially with the pandemic. But a lot of what I talk about in my act is just stuff that I've experienced, growing up in Red Lake, and a lot of it comes from our people healing through humor. And like I've said many times, that a lot of my best stuff is when I'm asked to, might sound morbid, but the funniest stuff I've ever come up with was when people asked me to speak at a funeral, and just sharing stories about people, and that's just what to help people mourn. It's just something that comes natural to our people. Gotta make use of our humor in the best way.
Absolutely. And let's talk about that comedy now. When did comedy come into your life?
I was pretty young. My stepdad, he was a big comedy fan. He watched, was it The Holy Grail? Who are those guys? I can't remember. Eric Church and all those, or not Eric Church. What are they called? Monty Python. That's who it is.
Oh, yeah.
Monty Python. And he's watching George Carlin. Eddie Murphy was the one that clicked for me, even though I had no business watching it at 6, 7, 8 years old. And I listened to the the audio cassette at the time, and just hearing the response one person could get in front of hundreds of people. And then we had a ventriloquist come up here. I must have been around 7, 8 years old, named Big Mountain.
Oh, I've heard of
him.
Put
a big show on for us up at the school. The gym was packed. The crowd was loving him, and I just love the idea of being up there and sharing stories with the community, and having a lot of fun. And I suppose the attention too is probably something I wanted since I was a kid, and just being a goofball show off. And I've been doing it since 2009. I was 33 years old at the time. I figured it was now or never. There was a showcase for native people at a college over here, and I did my first 10-minute set. Pure trash, but I got a couple laughs, and that's all it took to spark my interest in making a run at it, and I've been doing it ever since.
Let's go back to that first 10-minute set. What was it like? Did you have something? Did you have a routine plan? Did you go up there and wing it? What was it like?
I had cards with me going up there, just notes I wrote down. I wrote down the whole jokes that I had, and not just bullet points. I literally wrote whole jokes on those cards, and it was tough to get through that. And, just trying to sit there and read my cards word for word. And after about a few minutes, I just started winging it, and that's when I felt where I could do it. So
okay, very cool.
Ever since.
So, it says here that you performed at the Comedy Store and the Laugh Factory, a couple of legendary places. What were those performances like?
The Comedy Store was actually a lot of my. I went down for a showcase, and I was with J.R. Redwater, Chad Charlie, Casey Nicholson, Sheldon Starr, and Charlie Mullock. We were just roaming around Hollywood, man, and J.R. Redwater told us there was an open mic at the Comedy Store at the Belly Room. So we all put our names in for a drawing, and what do you know? Mine was the first drawing, so I had to go up and I got to do 5 minutes of not even prepared, just John, you're up, see what you got. All right, took 5 minutes. J.R. Redwater said I killed, so I'm going to take that as a positive, and it was a lot of fun. Then the next day we did the Laugh Factory for our showcase, and it was just a lot of fun. Got to open for Paul Rodriguez down there, and just enjoy just feel the history.
Yeah,
the history of comedy, and just love that feeling.
That's really cool. So what I want to go back now, this is another question that's jumping in is, you mentioned your first act was the 10-minute set through, what was it, a college? What was it?
Yep.
Just a
college native showcase.
A native showcase. So
Yeah.
So when did it get to the point where you were bumping elbows with, JR Redwater and stuff? When did you ascend, I guess you could say, to where like, wow, I'm in a group of native comedians?
Yeah. I think it was about maybe 2010 at our tribal casino here. Our marketing guy at the casino named Gary Jourdain Jr. I was bugging him for months, after my first set, bugging him just on him, Twitter and Facebook, whatever, bugging him. And I'm ready, man. Let's do this, man. I never thought he would let me, but a couple months before their show was, all right, let's see what you got. So they put me on with Tito Ibarra, Tatanka Means, Von Eagle Bear, and who else was there? There was I think it was the first big show at that casino, and we just, packed the room like 900 to 1,000, and we were supposed to have like 600 in there, so you could just feel that energy, that every time you got to laugh, you could just feel that laugh come, that energy just hits you. Like, I was compared to like, pro wrestling, and when Hulk Hogan gets all hulked up after he's getting beat, and he just gets fired up, and the crowd is, firing him up. That's pretty much what it was.
Man, that's awesome. That's so cool. That's a killer lineup. That's awesome. Yeah. And something I kind of want to showcase with that little bit of a story there is that good old fashioned, like, keep going after it. I mean, there's a lesson in that. You kept going.
Yep. Yeah, I just made some contacts with that first group of guys, and they put me in contact with other guys, and I was able to work with Jim Rule and Howie Miller and Jared Redwater eventually, and just it's a really good community of native comedians out there, and I'm proud to be a part of it. Every time I work with new ones, it just gets even better, man. There's a lot of good dudes out there and ladies.
Yeah, who I know a lot of native, I would say mostly male stand-up comedians. Who would you say is some of the top female native comedians at this time?
I like Adrienne Chalapa. She's a Kiowa Apache from Oklahoma. I think she's based in Albuquerque now. And, of course, Tanya Joe Hall.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's a lot of funny, it seems like again, going to funerals and stuff, it's the ladies that always have the nasty, not nasty jokes, but like the dirty jokes. Because I remember my great aunt, she gave me my Indian name, and she was, pushing her 90s, and she was still just talking trash. Family gatherings, she'd talk trash and get a little dirty, and just, even at that old age, she was still sharp in the mind and just making people laugh. And I think it's the women that give us our humor.
Yeah, that's what it's all about right there.
Yeah.
All right, so this is even a rumor. I mean, you told me this. You said you had some feuding going on with the fluffy guy and the late Ralphie May. You got to give us a scoop on that, man.
Well, I'll start with the fluffy guy. I remember I was on Twitter. I'm on Twitter a lot, at the Johnny R, Jonny. I was just looking up, and I saw he got done performing, and I added him on Twitter at the time. And said, come on, man, because I know he's having a show coming up my area. I was like,
and we are talking Gabriel Iglesias, right?
Yeah, Gabriel Iglesias.
Yeah.
And I was just not harassing him, but just trying to, get him to notice me. Like, come on, man, I'm ready to open up. And I called him Toots. I don't know what Toots meant to him, but that pissed him off, and he just, called me disrespectful and all that, and all of his, he had 1 million followers coming at me, and
oh man,
that was like 1 a.m, and people were just still coming at me, and they'd go through my profile and look at all my tweets, and they see things that I mentioned in Twitter, they'd bring it back on me, and I was just having fun, man. It was a lot of fun, even though 1 million people were, hating me at the time, and But the late Ralphie May, that happened when another harassing him on Twitter, trying to open up for him, and he had a guy come and he told me that part, and I sent out a Facebook post, and that caught fire. And then Adrienne Chalapa was the one that put a link on my post about Ralphie May, and it was about an old bit Ralphie did about Indians. The Dances with Wolves beating Goodfellas for Best Picture. a lot of it sounded like a lot of hate towards natives, and then that started a firestorm, and it went worldwide, and all of that was just because of a tweet and Facebook post I sent to Ralphie May, and then Ralphie called me out of nowhere. I don't know how he got my number or what. And, man, we talked for about 45 minutes. We're both pretty upset at each other.
Yeah.
And then after a while, we started listening to each other, let each other speak. And then ended the call, we're like, man, we got to, make this right. And we got to work together. We got to figure something out. And then a couple months later, he had shows in the area and asked me if I wanted to open for him. And it was just pretty good from there. And then before his death, he was on the verge of, making something for Indigenous comedians. He had pretty much a good feel of where we were coming from, and he was sorry for the way he learned about natives. Because he said he was a product of the public school system, and they don't teach Native history to Arkansas. In Arkansas school district, so he had no idea, and he was regretful about that. But he made amends before his death, and so we had a lot of a couple times I opened for him. We had stories, and it was just good to have somebody open their eyes to something they never realized before. And that's pretty much what it was with him.
Yeah, that's an incredible story. I mean, that's really super cool to hear that. I mean, that's how you do it. There's a lot of people that might be non-native and they don't know how to interact. That's how you do it the way he did it. I mean, he had a conversation. I mean, both were upset. You had a conversation. You moved on, and he did what he could. Yep. That's really cool. I've always been a fan of his, and that just makes me more of a fan. And actually, I don't know. I think I might have heard about something. What year did that happen? I
think that was 2017. Spring of 2017. It was April of 2017.
I mean, I could be making it up, but I feel like I remember that.
Yeah, it was all over the place, man. Everybody was talking about it.
All right, so next I want to ask you about the documentary Res Comedy. Can you tell us a little bit about that project?
Yeah, me and my friend, a comedy bro, Rob Fairbanks, he's known as the Res Reporter. We got together and, decided, everybody has this idea of doing the Kings of Comedy for Native comedians. And we just went off that idea and, raised some money and traveled the country and interviewed fellow Native comedians. They get their backstories, what inspires them to do comedy and what about their communities, made them the people that they are. And I think we interviewed about 9 or 10 comedians. We started in North Dakota, made our way around to the West Coast, down to California, come back through Kansas, and it was just it was good to hear their stories and where they come from. But the whole Hollywood thing is happening with it right now. There's a fight between me and the producer, and he was supposed to edit it, never worked out. So I got all the footage now. So now I got to start over with the editing because we're like 5 years in now, and he promised it to be done at the end of 2016, 2017, and it just never did. So I got a hold of the footage, and it's now my mission to finish it. He had a cut that I didn't like, so we're gonna call this the Johnny R cut. Like Zack Snyder got to redo the Justice League. This is gonna be my Zack.
Yeah, that'll
Johnny
be
R
cool.
cut. So
I think a lot of people don't realize how much is to that process. I mean, even editing, there's so many choices to make, and you can change the whole storyline with the way you put it together.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's really cool. I mean, that's kind of like, when I'm here, I like to reach out, interview as many people as I can because, like, to me, it feels like this is our war today. We're using these airwaves to bring awareness to the people and all this kind of thing. So, I mean, that's kind of the same thing you're doing. Those documentaries, this documentary will be around for generations.
Yeah.
So when
we'll be living forever.
Yeah. So it's in the process. Is there any projected dates about when the public might be able to view this or no?
Well, I want to have it finished to submit it to Sundance, so that'll be hopefully finished by September, and then we'll see if it gets accepted around December. So maybe, that's always been the plan, Sundance Film Festival. So hopefully next year we'll be,
there you go,
riding the circuit the circuit.
So a lot of comedians like to take it to film or TV. Do you have any dreams to do that, or do you think that sticking to the stage as a comedian is what you want to do?
Well, I think the big dream is to always be able to tell your stories the way you want to do it, and especially with podcasts is one way to control that. We're not able to hit the stage right now, so I've been doing a lot of that. But, with my experience with this movies and TV, I hear a lot of stories from Indigenous people that haven't been able to tell the story that they wanted because, studios get in there and chop it up and because they want it to have a broader appeal to make money.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of that changing now with what is that director from was it Taike TT or whatever?
Yep, I know you're talking about.
He's got TV shows coming out. He has Bobby Wilson's writing on a show, and Sterling Harjo and McGizzy Pensano is writing on TV shows right now. So maybe TV would be a way to go with what I want to say. So with those guys paving the way, it'll be a lot more appealing to me now to get some exposure. Now that I'll be able to control the narrative, I suppose that's the main thing about our stories. They need to hear from our point of view. That's something that's going to appeal to the masses just to make money. So hopefully get that freedom to do that if I'm able to get that far.
So would you look at yourself being like a writer or a performer or both? Or I'm just feeling things out here.
Yeah, on my I've been a little writer, director, producer, actor. I'm trying to do it all. Dabble in everything, so I know what to expect. So yeah, I'm just trying to do it all. I want to be like the Judd Apatow of Indian country or something.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I mean, I graduated from NMU and I've been doing radio a long time, but my degree is in digital cinema, and that's what I'm kind of looking to do too. So it's kind of cool to hear about that kind of thing. Is there anywhere right now for people to look for information, something on social media or something, or should we just stay tuned for that?
Yeah, just stay tuned. I update my Twitter a lot mostly now. Facebook is kind of, I think Facebook's reading my mind and it's kind of creeping me out. So I might get away from Facebook because I think of stuff and it's on my timeline. Like, how did that get? I was just thinking that,
Yeah.
I know my phone listens to me, but I didn't know it reads my mind. So, Twitter's seems more safe. So, but I'm at the Johnny R on Twitter.
All right, very good. And then I guess with that, any last words for people listening before we sign off?
I just want people to, support the Indigenous artists, man. We're all out here working hard. With this pandemic, it's been a struggle to get where we want to be. A lot of people are doing podcasts right now, and a lot of, TikTok has taken off with the Indigenous community now. We got a lot of Native comedians on there. Just support them, share them, whatever you can do to help get this spotlight on us so they can hear our stories and just keep on supporting us.